Hey everyone, welcome back to Think and Speak English. I'm Adam.
And I'm Julia. We're so glad you're here with us for episode 2.
If you were with us for episode 1, welcome back. We talked about daily conversations and how to handle those moments of silence without feeling stressed. And today we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to talk about feelings.
Yes, today's topic is expressing feelings naturally. And I think this is one of the most important things you can learn in English, because feelings are at the center of everything we do. Every conversation, every relationship, every moment of connection involves some kind of feeling.
And yet, for many English learners, talking about feelings is one of the hardest things to do. Not because the grammar is difficult, but because it feels personal, it feels vulnerable. And when you're already nervous about your English, adding emotions on top of that can feel like too much.
So today we want to make it easier. We're going to keep things calm, simple, and very human. We'll share stories, practice conversations, and give you phrases that feel natural, not like a textbook.
And just like last time, we'll go slowly. There's no rush. Let the words settle into your mind. If something feels useful, pause and replay it. This is your time.
We're not going to ask you to talk about deep trauma or complicated psychology. We're going to focus on the everyday feelings that come up in normal life. Stress, happiness, nervousness, tiredness, excitement, frustration. The feelings that you experience every single day but maybe don't always know how to express in English.
And by the end of this episode, we hope you'll feel more comfortable saying things like, I am a bit stressed today, or that made me really happy, or I'm feeling nervous about tomorrow. Simple, honest, natural.
All right, let's begin.
Julia, before we get into phrases and practice, I think we need to talk about why this matters. Why is expressing feelings such an important skill?
That's a great question. And I think the answer is surprisingly simple. When you can express your feelings, people understand you better. Not just your words, but you as a person. And when people understand you, conversations become warmer, relationships become deeper, and life in English feels less lonely.
I think that's really true. When someone tells me I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed today, I immediately feel closer to them. Because they're being real with me, they're not hiding behind polite, empty phrases. They're letting me see how they actually feel.
And the opposite is also true. When someone never expresses their feelings, when they always say, I'm fine, even when they're clearly not fine, it creates distance. You feel like you don't really know that person.
So expressing feelings is not just about language. It's about connection. It's about letting other people in.
And here's another reason it matters. When you can name your feelings, you handle them better. There's actually research on this. When you say, I feel anxious, your brain starts to calm down a little because you've identified what's happening. It's no longer a vague, scary feeling. It's something you can name and talk about.
That's fascinating. So expressing feelings helps you manage them.
Exactly. And in English, having the words to express your feelings means you can participate more fully in conversations, in friendships, in work relationships. You're not just a person who talks about facts and tasks. You're a complete human being who can share what's going on inside.
And that's what we want for our listeners. Not just better English, but a richer experience of using English.
Now, let's be honest about why this is hard. Because it is hard, and pretending it's easy doesn't help anyone.
I think the first reason is that feelings are personal. When you talk about facts, like the meeting is at 3:00, there's no risk. But when you say I'm feeling really stressed about the meeting, you're revealing something about yourself, and that feels vulnerable.
And vulnerability in a second language is double vulnerability. You're opening up emotionally and you're doing it with words that might not feel completely under your control. What if you say the wrong thing? What if the other person doesn't understand? What if you sound strange?
Those fears are completely understandable. And I want our listeners to know that those fears don't go away just because you reach a certain level. Even advanced speakers sometimes struggle to express feelings naturally.
The second reason it's hard is that many languages express feelings differently. In some languages, you might say, I have stress, but in English, we say, I feel stressed or I'm stressed. In some cultures, talking openly about negative feelings is discouraged, so it's not just a language challenge, it's sometimes a cultural one too.
And the third reason is that in school, most English learners practice grammar, reading, writing, and maybe some speaking. But how many classes spend time on, how do you say you're feeling overwhelmed? How do you tell a friend you're sad without making them worried?
Almost none. And that's why so many learners get stuck. They know hundreds of words, but when it comes to feelings, they only have, I'm fine, I'm good, and I'm okay.
And those three phrases, while perfectly useful, don't cover the full range of human experience. There's so much more you can say, and today we're going to help you find those words.
And we're going to start simple, very simple, because that's all you need.
Let's start with the building blocks. The simplest way to express a feeling in English is I feel, plus a feeling word, or I'm plus a feeling word.
So I feel happy or I'm happy, I feel tired or I'm tired both work perfectly.
Let's go through some common feeling words that are useful at B1. Positive feelings first. Happy, excited, grateful, relaxed, proud, hopeful, comfortable, relieved.
And now some challenging feelings: stressed, tired, nervous, worried, frustrated, overwhelmed, lonely, disappointed, confused, tense.
You don't need to memorize all of these right now, but having a few in each category, maybe 3 positive and 3 challenging, gives you a lot more range than just fine and okay.
And here's a tip. Pick 3 feeling words that describe how you feel most often and practice using them this week. Maybe for you it's tired, stressed, and grateful. Those 3 words alone will transform how you communicate.
Another really useful thing to know is how to show the intensity of a feeling. In English, we often use small words to make a feeling stronger or softer.
To make it softer, you can say a bit, a little, kind of, or slightly. So instead of I'm stressed, you can say I'm a bit stressed or I'm kind of tired.
And to make it stronger, you can say really, very, so, or incredibly, like I'm really happy or I'm so tired.
These small words make a big difference because they help you be more accurate. There's a difference between I'm a bit nervous and I'm incredibly nervous. The feeling word is the same, but the intensity is completely different.
And in daily life, most feelings are somewhere in the middle. You're not usually at 0 or at 10. You're at a 4 or a 6. And words like a bit and kind of help you express that middle space.
Words like a bit stressed, a lot of tasks, I'm managing help keep the tone balanced.
That balance is really important in English conversations. People appreciate honesty, but they also appreciate calmness. If you say, I'm a bit stressed, but I'm managing, people feel informed and they also feel reassured. Julia, do you have a small story about work stress to share?
Sure. Last month I had a big deadline. I had to finish a project in 1 week. Every day I worked long hours. I answered many emails. I had a lot of meetings.
That sounds like a very full week.
It was one evening my friend called me to chat. She asked, "How are you?" And I said, "Honestly, I'm really stressed. Work is heavy this week. I feel tired and a bit tense."
How did she react?
She said, "Thanks for telling me. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to talk about something else and relax?" That made me feel safe.
That's very kind.
I told her maybe just a little bit. I don't want to complain too much, and I told her some details, but not everything. After that, we talked about more light topics.
So you expressed your feeling with simple words: stressed, tired, tense.
Exactly. I didn't need fancy vocabulary. I didn't need to explain every detail of my workload. I just said how I felt simply and honestly, and my friend understood immediately.
And I love that she gave you a choice. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to talk about something else? That's such a thoughtful response.
It really is, and it's a phrase our listeners can use too. When someone shares a difficult feeling with you, offering that choice, do you want to talk about it, or would you rather talk about something lighter, is one of the kindest things you can say.
There's something else I noticed in your story, Julia. You said, I don't want to complain too much. And I think that's a feeling many learners have. They worry that expressing negative emotions will make them seem like they're complaining.
Yes, and I think it's important to understand the difference. Complaining is when you go on and on about a problem, usually without looking for solutions, and often in a way that makes the other person feel heavy. Expressing a feeling is simply saying, this is how I feel right now. It's honest, it's brief, and it's human.
And you can always set a boundary for yourself, like Julia did. Share a little and then let the conversation move on. You don't have to turn every conversation into a therapy session. Sometimes just naming the feeling is enough.
One sentence, that's all it takes. I'm feeling a bit stressed today. That's it. You've expressed your feeling. The other person knows and you can move on.
And interestingly, that one sentence often makes the whole conversation better, because now the other person understands your mood. They won't take it personally if you seem quiet or distracted. They'll just think, oh, Julia is having a stressful week. That makes sense.
Exactly. Expressing your feelings actually helps other people be kinder to you because they understand what's going on.
Let's talk about a moment that happens almost every day, and that most English learners handle the same way every time. Someone asks, how are you?
And you say, I'm fine, thanks.
Every single time, no matter how you actually feel.
And look, there's nothing wrong with, I'm fine, it's polite, it's appropriate, and sometimes you genuinely are fine. But if you always say the same thing, you miss an opportunity to practice expressing yourself and to have a more real conversation.
So let's explore some alternatives. If you're feeling good, instead of just, I'm fine, you could say, I'm doing really well actually. Or I'm great, I had a lovely morning, or I'm feeling pretty good today.
And if you're not feeling great, you could say, I'm okay, just a bit tired, or honestly, I'm a little stressed this week, but I'm managing, or I've had better days, but I'm all right.
Notice that all of these are still short and simple. You're not writing an essay about your feelings. You're just adding one layer of honesty to a standard greeting.
And in most situations, the other person will appreciate it. If you say, I'm a bit tired today, they might say, oh no, busy week? And now you have a conversation.
Compare that to, I'm fine, good, and then silence.
So the next time someone asks, how are you? Try answering with how you actually feel, even if it's small, even if it's just, I'm good, a little cold, but good. It makes the moment more human.
And it's great practice for building the habit of expressing feelings naturally.
Let's practice a full conversation now. I'll be someone who is having a tough day, and Adam, you be the supportive friend.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just a bit stressed with work these days.
Oh, I see.
I have a lot of tasks, and the deadlines are close, but it's fine. I'm managing.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Thanks. Just talking about it a little already helps.
I like that. You shared your stress, but you didn't complain too heavily.
Yes, words like a bit stressed, a lot of tasks I'm managing help keep the tone balanced.
Let's talk about why those specific words work so well. A bit stressed tells the other person that it's not a crisis. You're stressed, but it's manageable. It invites concern without creating alarm.
A lot of tasks is factual. You're explaining why you're stressed without blaming anyone or complaining about your boss or your company. It's neutral and clear.
And I'm managing is reassuring. It says I'm not falling apart, I'm handling it. The other person can relax a little because they know you're okay.
Together, those three phrases paint a complete picture. The feeling, the reason, and the reassurance, and the whole thing takes about 10 seconds.
That's the power of simple, well-chosen words. You don't need many, you just need the right ones.
Now, expressing your own feelings is one side of the coin. The other side is reacting to someone else's feelings, and this is just as important.
Because when someone trusts you enough to share how they feel, how you respond matters enormously. A good response makes them feel heard and safe. A bad response makes them wish they hadn't said anything.
So what does a good response look like? It doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the better.
The most important thing is to acknowledge what the person said. Don't ignore it. Don't change the subject. Don't immediately try to fix the problem. Just show that you heard them.
Here are some simple, powerful responses. I can understand that. That sounds tough. That's normal. I'm sorry to hear that. That makes sense.
Each of these tells the person, I hear you. Your feeling is valid. You're not alone.
And after you acknowledge the feeling, you can ask a gentle question if you want. Do you want to talk about it, or is there anything I can do, or what happened?
Or you can simply be present. Sometimes people don't need advice or questions. They just need someone to sit with them and say, I get it.
That's such an important point, Adam. In many cultures, and especially in English-speaking cultures, the instinct when someone shares a problem is to immediately offer solutions. You should do this, or why don't you try that? But often that's not what the person needs. They just need to be heard.
A phrase I find really helpful is, that sounds really hard. I'm glad you told me. It acknowledges the difficulty, and it also thanks them for trusting you. It makes the person feel like sharing was the right choice.
And if you're not sure what to say, if someone shares a feeling and your mind goes blank, just say, I'm sorry, that must be really difficult. You cannot go wrong with that response.
It's short, it's warm, and it works in almost every situation.
Now, reacting to someone else's feelings.
You be the one sharing.
Okay, let's try it.
I feel kind of nervous about tomorrow's presentation.
Yeah, I can understand that. Presentations are stressful.
I keep thinking I'll forget my lines.
That's normal. You prepared, right?
Yeah, I did.
Then you'll be okay. It's normal to feel nervous before something important.
Thanks, that makes me feel a bit better.
Here, I used simple responses. I can understand that. That's normal. You'll be okay.
Those phrases are very supportive.
And notice that I didn't try to fix the problem. I didn't say you should practice more or don't be nervous. That's silly. I just validated the feeling and offered some reassurance.
That distinction is so important. Validation first, solution second. And sometimes validation is all you need.
Let me also point out the phrase, I keep thinking I'll forget my lines. That's a really natural way to express anxiety in English. I keep thinking plus the worry. You can use this pattern for many situations.
I keep thinking I'll be late. I keep thinking they won't like my work. I keep thinking something will go wrong.
It's honest and specific. Instead of just saying, I'm nervous, you're saying what exactly you're nervous about. And that helps the other person understand you better and respond more helpfully.
So for our listeners, when you express a feeling, try to add a small reason, not a long explanation. Just one sentence. I'm nervous because I have a presentation tomorrow. I'm stressed because I have too many emails. I'm excited because my sister is visiting this weekend.
The feeling plus the reason, 2 short sentences that tell a complete story. Now, changing emotions during a conversation.
I'll try that.
Go ahead.
So, at the start of the day, I was really stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of work to finish, and I felt overwhelmed.
That sounds tough.
But later I talked to my manager and we made a plan, and I felt more calm after that.
So your feeling changed from stress to calm.
Yes. And by the end of the day, I even felt a bit proud that I handled it.
Nice. So in one day you were stressed, then calm, then a bit proud.
Emotions move. They don't stay in one place.
Right? And it's okay to explain that. I was stressed, but now I feel better. Or I was nervous, but now I'm more relaxed.
This is such an important idea, and I want to make sure our listeners really understand it. Feelings change. They move, they're not fixed, and being able to describe that movement in English is a really valuable skill.
Because in real life, people don't experience one flat emotion all day. You wake up tired, then you have a good coffee and feel more awake. Then you get a difficult email and feel anxious. Then a friend makes you laugh and you feel happy. Then by evening you're tired again. That's a normal day.
And in English, you can describe that journey with very simple language. This morning I was tired, but after my coffee I felt much better. I was worried about the meeting, but it actually went well, so now I'm relieved.
The key connecting words are but, then, after that, and now. These little words show the movement of emotions through time.
I was nervous, but then I started talking and I felt more confident.
At first I was disappointed, but after I thought about it, I realized it was okay.
I was frustrated this morning, but now I feel calmer.
These are real human ways of talking about your emotional experience, and they're all built with simple B1 grammar, no complicated structures needed.
And when you share this kind of emotional journey with someone, it makes the conversation feel genuine and interesting. Because you're not just reporting a single feeling. You're telling a small story about your day.
And people love small stories. They're much more engaging than one-word answers.
Let's practice a longer conversation about feelings. This time, let's imagine 2 friends meeting for coffee after a difficult week.
I'll start. Hey Adam, it's so good to see you. How was your week?
Honestly, it was a lot. I had this deadline on Wednesday, and I was really stressed about it. I barely slept on Tuesday night.
Oh no, that's terrible. Did you manage to finish on time?
I did, but just barely. I was working right up until the last minute. When I finally submitted it, I felt this huge wave of relief, like my whole body relaxed.
I know that feeling when the pressure finally lifts and you can just breathe again.
Exactly. And then on Thursday, my manager actually said the work was really good, and I went from being exhausted to feeling kind of proud.
That must have felt amazing, especially after all that stress.
It really did. But then Friday was quiet, and I started feeling a bit flat, not sad exactly, just empty, like all the adrenaline was gone and I didn't know what to do with myself.
That's so normal after a big deadline. Your body and your mind have been running on high energy, and when it stops, you feel lost for a bit.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So my week was stressful, then relieved, then proud, then flat. A whole journey in 5 days.
Thank you for sharing that. And notice how Adam used feeling words throughout that story. Stressed, relieved, proud, flat. Each one painted a clear picture of where he was emotionally.
And I also used phrases like barely slept, right up until the last minute, huge wave of relief, and didn't know what to do with myself. These aren't just feeling words, they're feeling descriptions. They help the other person feel what you felt.
At B1, you don't need to use all of those, but even using 2 or 3 feeling words in a story like that makes it come alive. We've been spending a lot of time on difficult feelings, and that makes sense, because those are often the hardest to express. But I want to make sure we also talk about positive feelings, because expressing happiness, gratitude, and excitement in English is just as important.
That's a great point. And honestly, some people find it just as awkward to express positive feelings as negative ones. They feel shy about saying, I'm so happy right now because it might seem like bragging or being too dramatic.
But expressing positive feelings is wonderful for relationships. When you tell someone, I'm really grateful for your help, or I'm so excited about this trip, it spreads warmth. It makes the other person feel good too.
So let's go through some natural ways to express positive feelings. The simplest is, I'm really happy about the new project. I'm really happy about how the dinner turned out.
Another one is, I feel so grateful for your support. I feel so grateful for this team.
I'm excited about the holiday. I'm excited about starting the new job.
That made my day. This is a lovely phrase for when something small and unexpected makes you happy. My colleague brought me coffee this morning. It totally made my day.
I feel really lucky. This one is nice for expressing appreciation for your situation. I feel really lucky to have such good friends.
And a very simple one that works everywhere that means a lot to me. When someone does something kind or says something supportive, you can say thank you. That really means a lot to me. It's warm, genuine, and always appropriate.
I want our listeners to try expressing a positive feeling today, not tomorrow. Today, tell someone I'm really grateful for, and fill in the blank. It could be your friend, your family member, your colleague, or even yourself.
That's a wonderful challenge, Adam. Gratitude is one of the easiest positive feelings to practice, and it has an incredible impact on how you feel and how others feel around you.
Let's do a quick scenario about sharing good news and positive feelings.
I'll start. Hey, Adam, guess what?
What happened?
I got the promotion they told me this morning.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. You really deserved it.
Thank you. I'm honestly a bit surprised, but also really excited. I've been working toward this for a long time.
How do you feel?
I feel relieved mostly and proud and a little nervous about the new responsibilities, but mostly just really, really happy.
I love that you described multiple feelings, relieved, proud, nervous, and happy. That's very real.
Because that's how it actually feels, right? Big moments in life don't come with just one emotion, they come with a whole mix. And being able to name that mix is a very natural, very human way of communicating.
And notice how I responded. I'm so happy for you. That's a key phrase for responding to someone's good news, not just nice or congratulations, but I'm so happy for you. It shows that their joy matters to you.
Other great responses to good news include, "That's wonderful, you must be so proud. I knew you could do it," and simply, "Wow, that's great news."
All of these are short and warm. They don't need to be long. They just need to be genuine.
Adam, I want to talk about something that I think is very real but doesn't get discussed enough: mixed feelings.
Oh, absolutely. Mixed feelings are when you feel two or more emotions at the same time, and they might even seem contradictory.
Like feeling excited about a new job, but also sad about leaving your old team, or feeling happy for a friend who's moving abroad, but also a bit lonely because you'll miss them.
In English, the simplest way to express mixed feelings is with but or at the same time. For example, I'm really excited about the move, but I'm also a bit scared.
Or, I'm happy for her, but at the same time, I know I'll miss her.
Or even, I feel two things at once. Part of me is relieved that it's over, and part of me is sad.
Part of me feels is a beautiful pattern for mixed emotions. It shows that you're complex, that you can hold two feelings at once, and that you're thoughtful about your inner experience.
And in real life, mixed feelings are probably the most common feelings of all. Pure happiness or pure sadness is rare. Most of the time, we're feeling a blend.
So don't worry if you can't pick one feeling word. It's perfectly natural to say, "I don't know exactly how I feel. I think I'm happy, but also a little nervous." That honesty is actually very attractive in conversation. It makes people feel like they're talking to a real person, not a robot.
And it invites deeper conversation when you say, I feel two things at once. The other person becomes curious. Tell me more, and now you're having a real meaningful exchange.
That's the kind of conversation that builds friendship. Not just, "How are you?" "Fine, but how are you?" "Honestly, I'm feeling a lot of things right now." That's where connection happens.
I want to mention something that I think is helpful for B1 learners. In English, we express physical feelings and emotional feelings in slightly different ways, and it's useful to know the difference.
That's a great point. For physical feelings, we often say, "I feel," or "I'm," plus an adjective. "I feel tired," "I'm cold," "I feel sick," "I'm hungry."
For emotional feelings, we use the same patterns. I feel happy, I'm nervous, I feel grateful, I'm frustrated.
But sometimes physical and emotional feelings overlap. When you're stressed, your body feels tense. When you're anxious, your stomach might hurt. When you're happy, your body feels light and energized.
And in English, you can describe that connection naturally. I'm so stressed that my shoulders are tight. I'm nervous and I can feel it in my stomach. I'm so happy I feel like jumping.
Connecting the emotional feeling to a physical sensation makes your expression more vivid and more relatable. The other person doesn't just understand your feeling intellectually, they can almost feel it with you.
You don't need to do this every time, but when you really want someone to understand how you feel, adding a physical detail can make a big difference.
"I'm exhausted. My whole body feels heavy." That's so much more powerful than just, "I'm tired."
I'm so excited that I can't sit still. That's more alive than just I'm excited.
These are small additions, but they bring your feelings to life in a way that simple adjectives alone can't.
Let's gather all the important phrases we've been using and a few new ones so our listeners have a clear reference.
For expressing your own feelings, "I'm feeling a bit," "I feel kind of," "I'm really," "honestly," "to be honest, I'm a bit."
For explaining the reason, I'm stressed because I feel nervous about, I'm happy because I feel this way because.
For softening a feeling, "a bit," "a little," "kind of," "slightly," these make your expression gentler and less alarming. "I'm a bit worried" sounds much calmer than "I'm worried."
For intensifying a feeling, really, very, so incredibly, extremely, I'm really happy is stronger than I'm happy.
For showing feelings change, I was stressed, but now I feel better. At first I was nervous, but then I relaxed. I started the day feeling tired, but by afternoon I had more energy.
For mixed feelings, part of me feels and part of me feels I'm happy but also a little sad. I feel two things at the same time.
For reacting to someone else's feelings, I can understand that. That sounds tough. That's completely normal. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for telling me. Is there anything I can do?
For responding to good news, I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful. You must be so proud. That's amazing news.
And for those moments when you're not sure how you feel, I don't know exactly how I feel right now. I think I'm still figuring it out. All of these are perfectly okay. You don't always need to have a clear label for your emotions.
And that's actually a really important thing to say. I'm not sure how I feel because it's honest and it opens the door for the other person to help you explore it.
Let's talk about some common mistakes that learners make when expressing feelings, so we can help our listeners avoid them.
The first mistake is always saying, I'm fine. We already talked about this, but it's worth repeating. I'm fine is not a feeling. It's a wall. It keeps people out. Try to replace it sometimes with something real, even if it's small.
The second mistake is confusing I feel with I think. In English, I feel happy is about emotion. I think this is a good idea is about opinion. Some learners say I feel this is a good idea, which sounds strange. If it's a thought, use I think. If it's an emotion, use I feel.
The third mistake is overdoing it. Sharing feelings is wonderful, but there's a balance. If you talk about your feelings constantly in every conversation for long periods of time, it can become exhausting for the other person. Share a little, check their response, and then let the conversation flow.
The fourth mistake is dismissing other people's feelings. When someone says, I'm feeling down today, don't say, don't be sad, or you shouldn't feel that way. Those responses, even though they're well-intentioned, actually make the person feel worse. Instead, validate first. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. Do you want to tell me more?
The fifth mistake is comparing feelings. If a friend says, I'm stressed about my exam, don't say you think that's stressful. I have 3 exams and a project. That's not helpful. It's competitive. Just listen and acknowledge their experience.
And the sixth mistake is apologizing for your feelings. Sorry for being sad. Or sorry, I know I shouldn't complain. Your feelings are not something to apologize for. It's okay to feel what you feel. You can express it simply and briefly without needing to say sorry.
Feelings are not a burden. They're a bridge. When you share them honestly and simply, they connect you to other people.
Before we start wrapping up, let's give our listeners some ideas for practicing at home.
First, try a feelings journal every evening. Write 1 or 2 sentences in English about how you felt during the day. Keep it simple. Today I felt tired in the morning, but more energized after lunch. I also felt a bit proud because I finished a difficult task.
You don't need to write a lot. 3 sentences is enough. The goal is to practice connecting feeling words to real experiences.
Second, practice with the mirror. Stand in front of a mirror and say, today I feel, and finish the sentence with a real feeling. Do it 3 times with different feelings. Today I feel grateful. Today I feel a bit nervous. Today I feel calm. Say them out loud. Let the words live in your mouth.
Third, when you watch TV shows or movies in English, pay attention to how characters express their feelings. What words do they use? What phrases? How do they react to each other's emotions? You'll start to notice patterns that you can borrow for your own conversations.
Fourth, practice responding to feelings. Imagine a friend tells you, I'm really stressed about work. What would you say? Practice your response out loud. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you want to talk about it? The more you rehearse these responses, the more natural they'll feel in real conversations.
And fifth, Try expressing one feeling to a real person this week. It doesn't have to be deep or dramatic, just something small and honest. I'm feeling really good today, or I'm a bit tired but happy to be here. One feeling shared with one person. That's your practice for this week.
And when you do it, notice how it feels. Notice how the other person responds. Most likely, they'll respond with warmth. And that experience will give you confidence to do it again.
Adam, before we close, I want to talk about something that goes beyond language.
Please do.
I think there's a kind of bravery in expressing your feelings, especially in a second language. When you say, I feel nervous or I'm struggling a bit, you're being honest in a way that takes courage. You're choosing to be real instead of hiding behind, I'm fine.
And that honesty, people can feel it. They might not consciously think, oh, this person is being vulnerable, but they sense it and it draws them closer. It makes them trust you more.
Some of the best conversations I've ever had were with people who said something simple but honest. I'm having a hard week. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm really happy right now and I just wanted someone to know.
Those moments of honesty are more memorable than any perfectly constructed sentence. They're what people remember about you, not your grammar, but your willingness to be real.
So as you practice expressing feelings in English, remember that you're not just building a skill, you're building trust. You're building connections, you're building a version of yourself in English that is real and warm and human.
And that version of you is the one that people will want to spend time with, not because your English is perfect, but because your heart is open.
I think that might be the most important thing we've said in this whole episode.
I think so too.
Let's take a moment to look back at everything we covered today.
We started by talking about why expressing feelings matters, because it builds connection, helps you manage your emotions, and makes your conversations richer and more human.
We discussed why it's difficult in a second language, the vulnerability, the cultural differences, and the gap in how most English is taught.
We learned simple feeling words for both positive and challenging emotions, and we practiced softening and intensifying them with words like a bit, kind of, really. And so,
we shared a personal story about work stress and saw how 3 simple phrases, a bit stressed, a lot of tasks, and I'm managing, can express a whole situation clearly and calmly.
we explored different ways to answer, how are you, beyond just, I'm fine.
We practice reacting to someone else's feelings with phrases like, I can understand that, that's normal, and you'll be okay.
We talked about how emotions move and change, and we practiced describing that movement with words like, but then, and now.
We explored positive feelings, mixed feelings, and the connection between physical and emotional sensations.
We went through key phrases for expressing softening, intensifying, and responding to feelings.
We discussed common mistakes like always saying, I'm fine, dismissing other people's feelings, and apologizing for your own emotions.
And we shared ideas for practicing at home, including a feelings journal mirror practice and the challenge of expressing one real feeling to one real person this week.
That's a lot of ground for one episode, and you don't need to remember all of it. Just pick one thing that resonated with you and carry it into your week.
Maybe it's a new feeling word. Maybe it's a response phrase. Maybe it's just the idea that it's okay to say how you really feel.
Whatever it is, let it be yours. Let it become part of how you speak English.
Thank you so much for being here today. This was episode 2 of Think and Speak English, and we're so grateful that you chose to spend this time with us.
Thank you for listening, for imagining yourself in these conversations, and for being brave enough to think about your own feelings in a new language.
In episode 3, we'll explore small talk in everyday life, how to have those easy, pleasant conversations with neighbors, colleagues, and new people you meet. It's going to be really practical and fun.
And it connects beautifully to what we did today because when you can express your feelings naturally, even small talk becomes warmer and more genuine.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who's also learning English. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you'll be with us every step of the way.
Remember, your feelings are not a problem. They're a gift. They're what makes you human. And expressing them in English, that's one of the most beautiful things you can learn to do.
Take care of yourself,
Be kind to yourself this week.
and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.